You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980. My name is Les Brown. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, and we opened this hour talking about comeback stories. And I used the Los Angeles Times newspaper today looking at this picture on the front page. If you did not see it, of a young man, a young lady that are seated on the grass in front of a house. It happens to be Megan Hurst's grandmother's home that was devastated, just destroyed with several other homes by a tornado. And I'm sure you've seen it in the news. Over 240 tornadoes hit 14 states, killing 44 people. It said it may be the largest outbreak of tornadoes in U.S. history. What we know is that there are tornadoes and hurricanes and all kind of natural disasters, but there are also other kind of disasters that can catch us off guard, that we never see them coming. Having a car accident, losing your ability to walk or to talk. John, who suffered from Bell palsy, just woke up one day and he had this disease that comes out of, this sickness comes out of nowhere, and it could stay around for at least 2 years. It looked like he had a stroke. He said he went to church early and left early. Why? He said because he didn't want people to ask him, what happened to you? And the thing is, though, but he said he had to challenge himself in the rehabilitation. He went through severe depression. He said he was a guy that was known for his smile, but now here he is now looking like he had a stroke. Couldn't close his eye. One of his eyes, he couldn't close it, and he had to have it tape closed for 9 months. Couldn't take a shower without the tape on there because he couldn't blink this eye. Didn't want to risk getting debris in there and cause blindness. And he came through. He said he challenged himself. He stretched himself. He didn't give up his goal and dream of being an entertainer. He was an entertainer prior to this, and he stayed on course. Here's something he said that was very important. He said, use what you have left. You can't use anything that you don't have, but whatever you have left, use that. So here's how you begin to come back. Write this down. Strengthen what is left. Strengthen what is left. He said he strengthened what he had left. He started taking a camera class and he started working on himself. And one day he was in the audience and somebody called for him to come up on stage to sing. And he said he could have stayed in his seat. And he said, no, I'm going up. This is it. I'm going to do this. And he did it. And he performed, and he's been performing since then. Ola, who had two relatives die within 5 hours of each other, had a relatively tough life. And one of the things she did, she found a cause that she could immerse herself in. She loves doing things with kids, so she created a traveling museum. And that's one of the good things when you talk about a comeback. Find something, a cause that you believe in, something that's bigger than you, something that becomes your reason for being, something that you get excited about. When you have a cause that you believe in, like one of the things I'm committed to is reducing the impact that autism has on so many children that are being born today. Having public service announcements, letting parents know the 3 to 4 things that they can identify early on between ages 0 and 3 before the child brain fully develops to maximize the quality of the life of the children who are born with autism. One of the goals I have is to reduce the number of women who die from breast cancer and men who die from prostate cancer by encouraging men to get their PSA test and their digital rectal examination. Finding a cause. When you have a cause that you believe in, you don't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning. You wake up automatically, and it gives you a power. It gives you the ability to tap into an ability and a capacity that you have within yourself to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. You become empowered by that cause. Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. The other thing in having comeback power and coming back from being devastated and losing everything, go into action. Don't stop. Don't stop to feel sorry for yourself. Oh, you're going to have some moments when you feel depressed. You're going to have some moments where you'll say, well, why did this happen? Why did this happen to me? That's natural. That's human. Yes, there's some moments that it's going to be a struggle. It was a struggle for John. It was a struggle for Ola, and it's a struggle for anybody. It was a struggle for me going through a foreclosure when I lost the first home that I purchased for my mother. That was devastating. I took a blow. I took a hit. It was life hit me below the belt at that time and dropped me to my knees. And I realized I was not given the luxury to be depressed and immobilized and allow that to overtake me. I had the choice. We always have the choice. You have the ability to say to yourself, this is not going to get the best of me. I'm going to come back from this. Dennis Gardner said that his brothers and sisters, they challenged him to come out of the house. He said he did not look in a mirror after being burned beyond recognition. He said he did not look in a mirror for over 3 years. Did not look in a mirror. Could not stand risking to see what he looked like. He said he just couldn't do it. And once he got out of the hospital, he said he stayed in the house, and then his brothers challenged them to come out of the house. And from that time to this time, I've been very fortunate to be able to be his mentor as a speaker. He's spoken around the world, not only to burn victims, but to everyday people, corporations, organizations, and juvenile delinquents, and just teenagers, period. He's a force for good on the planet. Or he said, Les, there are over 2 million people who look like me, but they don't have the courage to come out. He said, my goal is to inspire them to come out, that they still have a lot of life left. The beauty is it's on the inside. It's not on the outside. He's actively engaged in life. And that's some very, very important advice that he's giving us, staying engaged in life. Mama used to say an idle mind is a devil's workshop. When you're not engaged in life, when you're not living a productive life, I believe an unproductive life is a cursed life. The only time that Jesus ever cursed in the Bible is he came upon a fig tree that wasn't producing figs, and it wasn't even fig season. No. When people are not being productive, we have energy, and if you're not using that energy to be productive, then you're using that energy to be destructive. If you're not using that energy to be engaged in activity that's life-giving, you are using that energy to take away from life. Somebody said there are two kinds of people in life, those who work and those who watch them. And so when you lose everything, you don't have time to watch other people work. You don't have time to become a spectator. No. You've got to get back in the game. You've got to challenge yourself, to stretch yourself as John did. The other thing that's very important after experiencing a tornado or a hurricane or an earthquake in your life, and that is having something to prove. Something to prove to yourself, not to anybody else, but to yourself, saying, look here, I can do this. I'm better than this. I'm better than this. See, when things happen to you in life, one or two things can happen. Choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. One or two things can happen. Either you can choose to be bitter or you can choose to be better. John decided that having Bell palsy was something that he was not going to be bitter about. He chose to become a better person because of it, to strengthen what was left. And Ola, even though she experienced all type of tragedy in losing two relatives within 5 hours of each other and came up in a deprived background, she just chose to become a better person, be a voice of good and positivity for young people, and started a rolling museum. And when you begin to think about the various people in life who've overcome tremendous tragedies and setbacks, it all boils down to a decision. John said, I decided. We can decide. Wait a minute. This is not me. No. I can overcome this, and you can. You can. Sometimes you might doubt yourself. It's very important to take the time to reflect, to go within, to get still. And it's very important to put things in perspective and say, wait a minute, come on. I'm sure that somebody at some point in time in the history of the planet has gone through this and even more. And if they came back from that, then I can come back too. I've got comeback power, because you can. You can come back. And it's very important to affirm to yourself. This is something that I say to myself every day. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. Affirm that to yourself. If you've lost everything, if you've experienced one of the tornadoes of life, If you've gone through an earthquake yourself in your own life in some way, say to yourself over and over and over again, thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you. Death and life is in the tongue. Speak life, into your situation, into your body, into your relationship. Speak life into the future, the possibilities of what life holds for you, because you have something special. You have greatness within you. I want you to call me. The number is 888-539-2980. 888-539-2980. The next hour, we're talking about starting over again. We talked about comeback stories in this hour. Next hour, we're going to talk about starting over again from scratch. The number again, 888-539-2980. My name is Les.